Every single wild animal on this planet lives inside a permanent threat assessment system. This system never sleeps. It never pauses for rest or comfort. From the smallest field mouse to the largest whale in the ocean, survival is the only real priority. The animal brain is wired to scan for danger constantly because one moment of carelessness can mean death. This ancient warning system has been refined over millions of years of evolution. It is faster than conscious thought. It is stronger than hunger or even the need for rest. A wild animal does not see the world the way a human does. Instead, it sees a landscape of possible threats. A shadow could be a predator. A sound in the grass could be teeth. A strange shape on the horizon could be the end of its life. This is not paranoia. This is wisdom earned through countless generations of loss. The animals that ignored these warnings did not survive. Only the cautious ones passed their genes forward. So every wild creature carries this inherited vigilance like a flame that never goes out. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel because it only takes 1 second for you, but your support helps us more than you can imagine. Now consider the human animal from the perspective of these wild creatures. Humans are strange. Humans walk on 2 legs. Humans have forward-facing eyes like a predator. Humans also carry long weapons and make sudden loud noises. For most wild animals, a human is not a friend. A human is a monster. Even species that have never seen a human before will often freeze or flee at the first sight of a person. This is deeply strange if you think about it. How can an animal fear something it has never encountered? The answer lies in inherited memory. Research has shown that wild animals separated from humans for many generations still show fear responses. This fear is not learned through bad experiences. This fear is baked into their nervous system like a pre-installed software. A deer raised in captivity without any human violence will still panic when a human walks too close. A bird that has never been chased will still explode into flight when a hand reaches toward its nest. This is not a choice. This is survival programming. The brain of a wild animal treats a human as a potential apex predator by default. That default setting saves lives, but it also creates an enormous wall between species, a wall made of pure ancient terror. Now imagine what happens when that animal becomes trapped. The trap could be a metal jaw. It could be a rope snare. It could be a net or a fishing line or a deep hole in the ground. The moment the animal realizes it cannot move freely, a cascade of chemicals floods its body. Cortisol and adrenaline spike to levels that would cause a human heart to fail. The trapped animal enters an extreme physiological stress state unlike anything most people will ever witness. Its pupils dilate so wide that the eyes look black. Its muscles lock into rigid tension because the body is preparing for a mortal battle. Its breathing becomes shallow and rapid because the lungs are trying to pull in as much oxygen as possible for a desperate fight. This is not fear. This is terror at a molecular level. Studies have been conducted comparing stress hormones in trapped animals versus animals injured by gunshots or vehicle strikes. The results are shocking. Trapped animals often show higher stress levels than animals that have been shot. Think about that for a moment. A bullet wound is catastrophic. A car striking an animal is violent beyond description. And yet the slow, helpless horror of being trapped generates an even more intense biological panic. The animal cannot run. The animal cannot hide. The animal cannot fight effectively. All of its escape routes are blocked. Its brain interprets this situation as a death sentence already signed. Every instinct screams that a predator is coming to finish the job. That predator could be anything: a coyote, a hawk, a bear, or worst of all, a human. Wildlife rehabilitators see this transformation every day. They describe trapped animals as mentally narrowing their focus entirely to immediate danger. There is no room in the animal mind for curiosity or hope or trust. There is only the trap and the approaching threat. When a human rescuer walks toward a trapped animal, the animal does not see a helper. It sees a predator moving in for the kill. The thrashing begins. The panic intensifies. The animal may injure itself against the bars of a cage or the walls of a pit. It may bite the very wire that holds it. It may scream or growl or freeze in a desperate attempt to become invisible. As the human gets closer, the animal often escalates its behavior, because in the wild, a predator that comes close is about to strike. The final phase of a hunt is always close contact, so the animal throws its last energy into resistance. It may spin in circles. It may foam at the mouth from pure exertion. It may bite at anything within reach, including its own limbs. This is not madness. This is a survival reflex pushed to its absolute limit. The animal believes with every fiber of its being that death is seconds away. But then something strange happens in some rescue situations. The animal suddenly goes still. It stops thrashing. It stops biting. It stops even growling. Its body, which was moments ago a storm of violent motion, becomes completely calm. The rigid muscles relax slightly. The shallow panting slows down. The wide, terrified eyes may even close for a moment. Researchers who study animal behavior have a name for this moment. They call it a visible transition where the animal threat response appears to pause. This is not fainting. This is not giving up. This is something far more mysterious. The animal brain is trying to solve a puzzle. The approaching human is not behaving like a normal predator. Predators in the wild approach quickly, aggressively, and directly. They do not pause. They do not step carefully. They do not avoid eye contact. But human rescuers move differently. A trained rescuer moves slowly. They avoid sudden movements. They keep their voice low and steady. They look at the trap, not at the animal. They may even turn their body sideways to appear smaller and less threatening. All of these behaviors are completely alien to the animal threat detection system. The animal brain searches its memory bank for a recognizable threat pattern. It searches for the fast charge of a wolf. It searches for the silent stalking of a big cat. It searches for the swooping dive of an eagle. None of these patterns match the slow, careful human. The predator template does not fit. The animal brain becomes confused. Without a clear threat pattern, the crisis response can temporarily lose direction. The fight or flight system has no clear target. The freeze response, which is the third option, begins to take over. But this is not the frozen terror of a mouse in front of a snake. This is something quieter. This is the animal stepping out of its own survival script for just a few moments. It is a crack in the wall of fear. One of the most famous examples of this phenomenon happened in 2005 off the coast of San Francisco. A humpback whale became entangled in heavy fishing ropes and crab traps. The ropes were thick enough to hold a boat. The traps were heavy enough to sink a small vessel. The whale was massive, weighing over 50 tons and measuring nearly 50 feet long. But even this giant of the ocean was helpless. The ropes cut into its flesh. The traps dragged it down. Every movement made the entanglement worse. The whale could not surface properly. It could not dive. It could not feed. It could only wait for death. A team of divers was called to attempt a rescue. The divers knew the danger. A panicking whale could kill a human with a single flick of its tail. The water was cold and dark. The ropes were a tangled mess. But the divers entered the water anyway. They approached the whale slowly. And then something incredible happened. The whale stopped struggling. A 50-ton animal that could have crushed them without effort went completely still. The divers swam closer. The whale did not thrash. It did not try to escape. Instead, it seemed to watch them. One diver later described looking into the whale eye, which was the size of a dinner plate. There was no terror in that eye. There was no aggression. There was something that looked almost like waiting. As the divers began cutting the ropes, the whale adjusted its body position. It rolled slightly to expose the most tangled lines. It lifted its flipper to give the divers better access. It held itself perfectly still, even when the sharp knives came close to its skin. This is not the behavior of a panicked animal. This is not the behavior of a creature operating on pure survival reflex. This is something else entirely. Researchers who studied this event believe the whale may have suspended its threat response. The calm behavior of the divers did not fit any predator pattern. The whale brain could not classify the slow, careful humans as a danger. So the fear system stepped aside. It made room for something else. Something we do not fully understand. After the last rope was cut, the whale did not swim away immediately. Most wild animals flee the moment they are free. That is survival 101. Escape and hide. Do not look back. But this whale did not flee. Instead, it reportedly approached each diver one by one. It swam slowly in a wide circle. It came close to each person and touched them gently with its body. One diver said the whale pushed its massive head against his chest in a way that felt deliberate. Another diver felt the whale pectoral fin brush against her arm.